Today, we're driving through one of the most scenic and rugged national parks in the U.S., Shenandoah National Park, where every turn on Skyline Drive offers a unique experience. Let me show you a different way to look at Shenandoah National Park. Not only a place of beauty, but a park captured by determination. From cloudy mystery to breathtaking views, we will take two of the park's best hikes, learn of the displacement of hundreds of years of European settlements, experience a stretch of the world-famous Appalachian National Scenic Trail, see the results of the Civilian Conservation Corps, and everything in between as you travel across America with me. Let me mention that this is the intersection where you can catch the Blue Ridge Parkway southbound, a similar but in many ways a very different sort of treat. There are information boards at a pullout where you can acquaint yourself with the park. We started our journey at the southern entrance, Rockfish Gap, at mile marker 105, and headed north on Skyline Drive, our portal to this national park. Yes, the entire drive is 105 miles. The ranger at the entrance station will provide you with a park map and the always helpful park newspaper. The weather was, well, let's just say it was keeping us guessing. 1 minute we were driving through thick clouds with zero visibility. This park isn't all about the drive, but 75 overlooks and 500 miles of trails to explore the deep woods and rugged terrain. Beautiful waterfalls, quiet forest, and mountain summits are just a hike away. The park map and key stops are identified by mile markers at this narrow, vertically challenging park. Because of this geographic design, you are never far away from Skyline Drive or an inhabited area of the national park. Shenandoah National Park is heavily wooded and in the heart of the Appalachian mountain chain, so you could get lost if you wander off trail. Weather is usually wet in some form in these parts. See the landscape? There are 75 overlooks facing the Shenandoah River Valley to the west and the rolling hills of the Virginia Piedmont to the east, providing captivating and unique vistas. Each season brings about a new adventure. You will find informative signage at most of the overlooks. Take time to read some of them. This is part of the adventure. We have visited this park 3 times and try to do something different each time. We have gone twice in mid-September at the brink of fall. After cloud-limiting views, we were greeted with these stunning views that felt like they were straight out of a postcard. This day would be filled with a battle between the clouds and clear views. By 1929, more than 23 million passenger cars were registered in the U.S., making the automobile one of the most significant social changes ever. Early advocates proposed that Shenandoah National Park's main attraction be built for the motoring tourist. Skyline Drive would be for the leisurely drives and picnics in the cool mountain air. When the Great Depression stalled fundraising for the park land acquisitions, planners turned to a drought relief appropriation and forged ahead with Skyline Drive. They purchased 100-foot right-of-ways and hired local labor, while the architects struggled to design the road along the narrow legal route. The first section opened temporarily in 1932 to rave reviews, but erosion problems gnawed at the roadsides and the architects. Help arrived in 1933 when the first Civilian Conservation Corps, boys, came to the proposed park and set to work on the trails and infrastructure. Once the government took ownership of the adjacent land in 1935, the CCC boys' work focused on stopping erosion and installing the overlooks, plantings, and landscape details that make Skyline Drive so beautiful. At the heart of our adventure and the only indoor activity, we stopped by the Big Meadows Visitor Center. This place is full of fascinating exhibits about the history of the park. Skyline Drive and the Appalachian Mountains. Let me show you around and explain a few of the displays that stood out to me. 2 centuries of European settlement in the Shenandoah Valley and Blue Ridge Mountains had slowly encroached on this massive forest. In 1926, the Commonwealth of Virginia donated 280 square miles of land to the federal government to be designated Shenandoah National Park. From that time, the area's return to its natural state began. Farmlands began to overgrow with forest. This park story is not limited to its natural beauty, but a full story of human involvement runs deep, as presented so well in these displays. September 28, 1937. Dear Mr. Gleiser, your letter of September 22nd to the Secretary of the Interior protesting against the proposed Shenandoah National Park, including a church of which you are a member, has been referred to this service. As you know, the obligations of acquiring all lands within the boundary for the park to meet the prescriptions of federal and state laws fall upon your state commission, of which Mr. Carson is the chairman. While the church property will have to be purchased if it is located within the final line, we are confident that, if it does not stand in the way of important and necessary improvements, some arrangement for leasing may be worked out after the property has been turned over to the government that will be mutually satisfactory. Sincerely yours, Horace M. Albright, Director. National Park fans should be familiar with Horace Albright and Stephen Mather. And by the way, it wasn't just this church. Some landowners also fought in court too. How do you feel about this? Leave me a comment. On July 3rd, 1936, standing behind a bank of radio microphones that broadcast the ceremony live, Franklin Delano Roosevelt dedicated Shenandoah National Park from a platform in Big Meadows. Don't neglect buying yourself a postcard and mailing it back home. This is the least expensive souvenir you could ever buy. And of course, get your passport book stamped. And here's a travel tip. If for some reason you will not be able to get to a visitor center to get your stamp, the rangers at the entrance stations have them. I got both. I don't ever want to miss getting a stamp. After learning all about the park, it was time to hit the trails. First up, Dark Hollow Falls. Now, this one's a short hike, but it's not for the faint of heart. The parking lot located just to the north of the Big Meadows Visitor Center was packed, but we did find a spot. Here's a park tip. If you are visiting in the peak season or a weekend, you might remain parked at the visitor center and take the connector trail. At just under a mile, Dark Hollow Falls Trail is steep, slippery, and muddy in places, and pretty challenging, especially after a few days of rain. Stay behind me, but don't slip and knock me down. But once you make it to the falls, the reward is worth every muddy step. Let's enjoy the hike together. Just look at that view. Like most popular places, people tend to hang out at the pinnacle point of the trail. For those of you wanting to continue, the trail does not end here. We had so much more to do, so this would be our turnaround point. We just had to see what this pullout had to offer on our way to the next hike. Next up, the Stony Man Trail, even more stunning and to my liking. This one's a bit more popular, and with views like these, it's easy to see why. It's found near mile marker 40 in the area named Skyland. Skyland is the operative word because it is at 3,680 feet in elevation. The highest point on Skyline Drive is near mile marker 42. We never saw a sign, and there is nowhere to pull off on this stretch of road to determine where this highest point is. The Stony Man Trail is a much easier trail when compared to the sometimes grueling Dark Hollow Falls Trail that we just did. Be sure to stay on the Stony Man Trail when you get to this intersection. Don't make a wrong turn and get on the Appalachian Trail by accident. We'll be making a stop real soon to take a quick hike to an AT hut, so hang on tight. Despite the crowd, the views from Stony Man are unbeatable. You're standing at the top of the world, looking out over the Shenandoah River Valley. At the top, the outcrop on the cliff affords stunning views from the second highest peak in the park. We are at 4,011 feet in elevation. It's a perfect spot to pause, catch your breath, have a snack, and take it all in. If you are afraid of heights or the edge, just stay behind me. You can also get off course on the web of side trails on the south side of the trail. Either pay attention or enjoy the rabbit trails. One of the coolest parts about Shenandoah is that the Appalachian Trail runs right along Skyline Drive, so we couldn't resist stepping onto it for a bit. Appalachian National Scenic Trail founder Benton McKay's goal was to create a wilderness way through civilization. His idea began in 1924, and now 100 years later, millions of hikers have enjoyed his vision at some place along this 2,175-mile-long trail. Find 101 miles of the AT in Shenandoah National Park. The AT stretches between Mount Katahdin in northern Maine all the way down to Springer Mountain in north-central Georgia. Do you know anyone who has had the honor of being a through hiker? We know one couple that hiked the entire trail around 20 years ago and recently met a young man who went from Mount Katahdin to Shenandoah National Park. We hopped on a section of the AT to reach Pinefield Mountain Hut, a shelter for long-distance hikers making their way through this arduous terrain. Who knows, maybe one day we'll come back to do more of the whole thing at Shenandoah National Park. We like getting to the huts and hiking parts of this famous trail anywhere we run across it. We did stop at a few of the overlooks that were cloudy on the way in to get a few clear views of the Shenandoah River Valley from the southern section of the park. Although we did not travel the entire 105 miles, we did 60% of it. We thoroughly enjoyed the day. There are 3 other entrances: the Front Royal, the north entrance, and 2 side entrances, Thornton Gap and Swift Run Gap. On our way out, we also spotted a few deer, which are pretty common around here. They're almost like the park's unofficial mascot. We drove back down the road feeling like we'd just experienced a day full of nature surprises. From clouds to sunshine, steep hikes to panoramic views, Shenandoah National Park definitely left its mark on us. So whether you're a seasoned hiker or just looking for a scenic drive, Shenandoah National Park has something for everyone. If you like this adventure, be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe for more outdoor journeys and let us know in the comments what's your favorite national park to explore. Hiking boots on the ground, Unclassic road trip. Let me recommend my National and State Park playlist, where I take you to terrific parks from east to west. See you on the next one.